So, a good day to everyone. I will be discussing on this video lecture the structures of the protein. So, last video lecture, I've discussed about the what is protein, the definition of protein, the function of the protein, also what is amino acid. So, it is the building block of proteins. So, I've also discussed the non-essential and essential amino acids, as well as the limiting amino acids. So for this video lecture, I'm going to discuss about the structures of the protein. So first structure is the primary structure na tinatawag. So in the primary structure, it is the simplest level of protein structure. So ito yung pinakasimple kasi it is a linear sequence of amino acid lang. So parang ganito. When we say linear, parang straight line lang. So, walang kadugtong, walang nagbra-branch, walang mga paliko-liko, basta linear yung sequence of amino acid. So, as you can see on the picture, as you can see on the diagram, the figure, yung primary structure parang ganito lang. Each circle represents a amino acid. And then, itong mga amino acid na to, yung position, linear lang. So, yun yung primary structure. So, the term primary structure refers to the sequence of amino acid along the polypeptide chain of the protein. So, here is another diagram. So, these amino acids are attached together by a peptide band. So, when we say peptide band, ito. So, I'm not going to discuss further what is peptide band. Basta, yung tandaan lang, is yung primary structure, yung mga amino acid that is nasa linear sequence, it is bonded together by the peptide bonds. Itong oxygen, carbon dioxide, and then itong NH. Ito yung peptide bond na tinatawag. And then, yung structure sa primary structure of protein, it always start with the N-terminal. Ito nandito sa NH2. And then it will end with the C-terminal, ito. So, yun yung mga parts ng primary structure. So, it is fairly simple. Basta yung laging tatandaan is yung amino acid, it is bonded together by the peptide bond with each other. And then, the primary structure of protein always starts with the N-terminal and then it ends with the C-terminal. So another example is that here. So the amino acids are attached by the peptide bonds and the primary structure protein, yung start niya is yung N-terminal and then it will end with the C-terminal. So the sequence of a protein is determined by the DNA of the gene that encodes the protein. So this is true not only with primary structure, also with the other structure. So yung, for example, itong ATG, TAC, this sequence of codons na tinatawag na nandun sa DNA, itong ATG, TAC na to, they code for an specific protein. So, with that, yung sequence ng protein, it is determined by this DNA kasi nandito yung code kung saan, kung ano yung iproproduce na protein. So, yung changes in the gene's DNA, pag may nag-change doon sa DNA sequence, pag ito pinalitan mo ng C, pag ito pinalitan mo ng G, it may lead to a change in the amino acid sequence kasi iba na yung na-produce mo na amino acid. So, even changing just one amino acid in a protein sequence can affect the protein's overall structure and function. And then, we go to the secondary structure na tinatawag. So, in the secondary structure of protein, the amino acid is linked by peptide bond. And the peptide bond has an oxygen attached with a carbon dioxide and a nitrogen attached with a hydrogen. So, yun yung peptide bond. Now, both the hydrogen and the oxygen has the ability to form hydrogen bond na tinatawag. So, itong oxygen and then itong hydrogen, both of these have the ability to form yung hydrogen bond na tinatawag, which itong hydrogen bond na to will form or it will result to folding of this structure. Kasi ito, parang primary structure pa lang, itong part na to. Pero because of the hydrogen bond caused by the oxygen and the hydrogen, magfo-fold ngayon yung primary structure into the secondary structure, which is yung alpha helix and then the beta sheet. So, most common type of secondary structure are the alpha helix na tinatawag natin at saka yung beta helix na tinatawag natin. So, let's first discuss the structure of the alpha helix. Yung structure ng alpha helix, it is parang a spiral structure. So, in the alpha helix, yung CO, yung carbonyl group of the amino acid is hydrogen bonded, as I've said, yung parang hydrogen bonded. So, the amino acid or the amino hydrogen of the amino acid, itong amino acid, it is bonded with the oxygen para magkaroon ng hydrogen bonding. So, this pattern of bonding will pull the polypeptide chain into a helical structure. So, parang ganito. Parang nag-spiral. So, each turn daw ng amino acid. So, dito sa part na to. So, ito yung parang spiral. So, dito sa part na to, each turn ng amino acid or each turn of the helix structure, it will contain 3.6 amino acid. So, dito sa part na to, may 3.6 amino acid. And then dito sa part na to, 3.6. And then dito sa part na to, 3.6. And then dito sa part na to, 3.6 na amino acid. Yung it may contain 3.6 amino acid. So, yun. Each turn of helix has 3.6 amino acid with a distance of 0.54 nanometer. So, ganun yung distance nila. So, in the B-plated sheet naman, yung beta sheet na tinatawag, 2 or more segments of the polypeptide chain line up next to each other, forming a sheet-like structure held together by hydrogen bond. So, imbes na iisa lang, parang dalawang primary structure yung nag-bond together by hydrogen bond. And then, because of the hydrogen bond, it will form a sheet-like structure, parang ganito. Parang it resembles yung sa bubong natin, doon sa yero natin, yung itsura ng B-plated sheet na tinatawag. So, yun yung dalawang most common structure for the secondary structure of protein. You have yung alpha helix, parang spiral, and then itong B-plated sheet na parang yero. So, for the tertiary structure naman, the overall three-dimensional structure of a polypeptide is called its tertiary structure. So, as you can see, ito yung secondary, di ba? You have yung alpha helix, yung B sheet, and then an alpha helix. For the tertiary, parang ganito. Parang 3D, or yun yung parang definition ng tertiary structure. It is a three-dimensional structure. So, di ba na-mention ko kanina na aside from yung hydrogen bond, which is yun yung parang bonding, primary bonding, kung bakit naging alpha helix at saka naging beta sheet yung primary structure, kaya naging secondary structures siya because of hydrogen bonding. So, itong part na to, itong hydrogen bonding. Pero, sa tertiary structure, may mga kaakibat rin na iba't ibang bonding that is responsible for its structure. Kaya hindi lang yung hydrogen bond. You also have this, itong disulfide bond na tinatawag, itong S tsaka S, yung sulfur. And then you also have the hydrophobic interaction dito sa part na to. So, all of these bonds are responsible kung bakit naging parang three-dimensional na yung structure ng protein. Then for the quaternary structure, protein consisting of more than one amino acid chain na. So however, some protein are made up of multiple polypeptide chains, also known as subunits. When these subunits come together, they give the protein its quaternary structure. So many proteins are made up of single polypeptide chain lang and have only 3 levels of structure. Pero pag yung involved na is multiple polypeptide chains na, tapos itong mga polypeptide chains na to ay nagbaband together, nag-i-stick together, they give the protein its quaternary structure na tinatawag. So, as a recap, yung primary structure, linear sequence lang. Yung secondary structure, because of hydrogen bonding, medyo nag-iba yung itsura ng protein structure. From linear structure, naging alpha helix, naging spiral, at saka naging beta sheet. Beta sheet na structure, which is parang yung bubong or yero natin. Now, after that, because of other bonds dun sa protein, like the disulfide bond as well as the hydrogen bond, and then you also have the hydrophobic interaction, all of these bonds create yung three-dimensional structure na ng protein, which is yun yung tertiary protein structure. And then for the last structure, you have your quaternary structure na tinatawag. So dito, hindi lang iisang parang chain ng amino acid na yung involved. Multiple chains na ng polypeptide chains yung involved, at saka nag-i-stick sila, nagbaband together sila in order to create this quaternary structure na tinatawag. So, one common example kasi ng quaternary structure is the hemoglobin. So, doon sa hemoglobin kasi, di ba sinabi ko na sa quaternary structure, it contains itong mga polypeptide chains, multiple polypeptide chains. So, doon sa hemoglobin, it is made up of 4 polypeptide chains. So, yun yung dalawang alpha helix at saka dalawang beta sheet structure. So, multiple polypeptide chains siya, kaya naging quaternary structure siya. Then we go for the classification of protein na tinatawag. So, there are a lot. I think 3 or more na classification ng protein. So, first is the fibrous protein na tinatawag. So, these proteins are insoluble and very resistant to animal digestive enzyme. So, as the parang definition, yung mga fibrous protein, basta yung laging tatandaan ng fibrous protein, they are insoluble kasi they are resistant dun sa animal digestive enzyme. Kaya, yun yung isang reason kung bakit naging insoluble na sila. So, yun yung fibrous protein. So, now we have here like the parang types of fibrous protein na tinatawag. So, first is the collagen. So, yung collagen, it is parang the main protein of connective tissue. So, if you can remember yung anapin ninyo, yung connective tissue ninyo, one of the examples is yung one of the proteins na nabanggit doon, yung collagen. So, basically yung collagen, it makes up about yung 30% of the total protein in the mammalian body. So, ganun karami yung collagen. Now, again, collagens, they are insoluble. They are resistant to digestive enzymes. Same with elastin. So, when we say elastin naman, it is the protein found in elastic tissue. As the name implies, elastin. So, ito na matatagpuan sa mga elastic tissue. So, when we say elastic tissues, ito yung mga tendons natin and arteries. Now, this elastin, it is rich with the amino acids, mga alanine at saka glycine. And then we have keratin na tinatawag. So, in keratin, madalas nababanggit ito sa mga shampoo commercial. So, when we say keratin, it is associated with mga hair. So, keratin are proteins of the hair, yung mga hoof, at saka yung nails. So, these protein are rich in sulfur-containing amino acid na cysteine or cytine. So, itong mga collagens, elastin, keratins, it is under fibrous protein. So, all of these are insoluble. Then you have globular protein na tinatawag. So, this globular protein, this group includes all the enzymes, antigens, and hormones that are protein. So, yun. Lahat daw ng enzymes, antigens, at saka hormones na protein, pupunta lahat to or maklasify lahat ito as globular protein. So, some examples of globular protein, you have the albumin. So, yung albumin, ito yung parang water-soluble and heat coagulable. So, they are soluble in heat and then they they are soluble in water and then they react to heat. So, itong albumin na to, it occurs in eggs, sa milk, sa blood, at saka matatagpuan na rin to sa mga plants. So, yun yung albumin. For the globulin, ito ay present doon sa egg, sa milk, at saka sa blood rin. And they are the main reserve protein source. Yun main reserve protein sila ng seed, itong globulin. And then yung histone naman, they are the basic protein which occurs in cell nucleus where they are associated with DNA, itong histone. So, when we say histone, associated sila sa DNA and basic protein in cell nucleus. And then, when we say protamines naman, they are like the basic protein of that are associated with nucleic acid and are found in large quantities dun sa nature, dun sa germ cell ng mga vertebrates. So, yon yung protamines. So, yung protamines, they are rich in arginine. So, those are some examples of globular protein. Now, in conjugated protein naman, conjugated proteins are composed of simple protein combined with some non-protein substances. So, yun yung definition niya. Simple protein plus non-protein substances, it will become conjugated protein. So, here are some examples of conjugated protein. So, you have phosphoprotein, which is yun yung protein that yields yung parang phosphoric acid at saka amino acid. So, yung mga best example for phosphoprotein, you have the casein of milk at saka yung egg yolk. Yun yung parang best example of phosphoprotein. Now, for the glycoproteins, these are the components of mucous secretion which acts as a lubricants in many parts of the body. So, glycoprotein, it is involved in mucus. Dun sa mga mucus secretion sa body. So, when we say mucus kasi, it can act as a lubricant dun sa mga parts ng body natin. Then, itong lipoprotein naman, ito yung main component for the cell membrane. And it plays a basic role in lipid transport. So, yun, lipoprotein. Then, for the chromoprotein na tinatawag, contains pigment. Examples are yung mga hemoglobin mo. So, yun yung chromoprotein. It contains pigment. Then, itong nucleoprotein na tinatawag are compound of high molecular weight and it is parang associated with yung nucleic acid. And then, itong metalloprotein na tinatawag, as the name implies, metal are large groups of enzymes that enzyme protein that contains itong mga metallic elements such as yung iron, cobalt, manganese, zinc, copper, magnesium, and many more. So, yun yung metallic protein. So, all of these proteins are under the conjugated protein na tinatawag. Now, this conjugated protein, again, yun yung isang simple protein plus other substances. It will make up the conjugated protein. Now, for the derived proteins, this class of proteins includes those substances formed from simple and conjugated protein. So, yung simple protein plus the conjugated protein, you will have yung derived protein na tinatawag. So, with that, we also have what we call as non-protein nitrogenous compounds. So, when we say non-protein nitrogenous compounds, are nitrogenous compounds that are not classified as protein. So, yun. Di ba, doon sa protein na diniscuss ko last video lecture, I've talked about the importance of nitrogen. I've talked about the importance ng weight ng nitrogen in determining yung weight ng protein. Pero may mga non-protein nitrogenous compounds rin na tinatawag. Yun yung mga nitrogenous compounds that are not classified as protein. So, yung NPN refers or nitrogenous protein, non-protein nitrogen refers to the collectively to the components such as yung urea and ammonia. So, yun yung best examples for NPN na tinatawag natin. Yun yung urea at saka ammonia. So, NPN are not protein but can be converted into protein by microbes in the ruminant stomach. So, yun, like for example, the urea and the ammonia. So, it is associated or it is important on the diet of the animal. So, if you know how to make yung UMMB na tinatawag, one of the parang ingredients to make that is yung urea. Kasi kailangan or pwedeng maging source of nutrient yung urea dun sa mga animal. Kasi kahit sabihin mo na hindi sila protein, pero yung urea kasi at ammonia, they are nitrogenous compound. And then pag it came into contact with the microbes dun sa mga protozoa, dun sa rumen ng animal, ng ruminant, they will convert this ammonia, this urea, or any other kind of non-protein nitrogen into protein. So, yun yung ability ng mga microbes natin dun sa rumen ng ruminant. So, pwede nilang i-convert itong NPN into their own protein. Now, bakit ito importante? Bakit importante yung mga microbes? Bakit importante na nako-convert nila itong NPN into protein? Kasi yung kino-convert nilang protein nitong mga microbes na galing dun sa NPN, pwedeng ma-absorb ngayon ng ruminant. Pwedeng ma-absorb mismo ng ruminant yung mga ginagawang protein ng mga microbes na galing dun sa NPN. Kaya, yung ruminant, they have the ability to utilize yung urea. Basta hindi masyadong mataas yung concentration ng urea, they could utilize, mga ruminant, they could utilize yung urea as a source of protein. So with that, with the classifications of protein, let's go naman doon sa digestion of protein in non-ruminants. So, for the digestion of protein sa mga ruminants, I will talk about it further next video lecture kasi yun nga, it has different digestive system, mas complex yung digestive system nila, kaya mas complex yung digestion process nila ng protein. Pero yung digestion of protein in non-ruminants, let's mag-start yun sa stomach. So, digestion in the stomach. So, bakit walang digestion ng protein sa mouth? Kasi, as you can recall doon, kasi parang may present akong mga table on the different enzymes of the digestive system of animals at saka kung ano yung mga breakdown nila. So, sa mouth kasi, yung enzyme na yun is yung salivary amylase. Now, itong saliva pala ng mga animals they don't contain yung tinatawag na proteolytic enzyme or yung mga enzymes that can break down protein. Kaya walang nagaganap na digestion ng protein doon sa mouth. Pero yung parang role ng mouth doon sa protein digestion is yung saliva, it will soften the food particle. So ginagawa niyang soap, which is helpful doon sa ingestion ng protein. So now after the mouth, pupunta na tayo doon sa stomach. So in the digestion in the stomach, it is by the action of the peptic enzyme. So when we say peptic enzyme, you have the pepsin and the gastrin. So yung pepsin and gastrin are the most important peptic enzyme in the stomach. So both enzymes are most active at about pH nasa 2 to 3 and completely inactive at above 5. So yun, kailangan na yung stomach ng non-ruminants, they are acidic. So yun yung parang distinct characteristic ng stomach. Dapat acidic para yung mga enzymes that will break down, that will digest yung mga protein can work. Kasi pag tumaas yung pH, naging basic yung pH, naging 5 and above, inactive na yung mga enzymes doon sa stomach. At pag inactive yung mga enzymes like pepsin and gastrin, hindi na nila ma-digest, ma-break down yung protein. Kaya importante na nasa range na to. Sa 2 to 3 pH yung enzyme. Yung acidity or pH level dun sa stomach. So these enzymes are capable of digesting protein, collagen, and nucleoproteins into proteases, peptones, and polypeptides. So yun. So, ang parang responsable kung bakit nagiging acidic yung stomach is the gastric gland na tinatawag natin, which it will secrete yung hydrochloric acid na tinatawag. Yung hydrochloric acid, yung pH niya nakapababa, nasa mga 0.8 yung pH niya. Pero by the time na it will mix with the stomach contents, yung range niya nagiging 2 to 3. So yun yung dapat ideal pH level doon sa stomach. Then after stomach, pupunta doon sa intestine. So digestion of protein by pancreatic secretion muna. Kasi kahit sinasabi natin na yung sa intestine pumupunta yung mga food natin, yung mga pancreas, yung liver natin, they will secrete mga juices that contains enzymes doon sa intestine natin. So, one of these is yung pancreatic secretion. So, immediately upon entering the duodenum, the partial breakdown products are attacked by pancreatic enzyme. Yun yung trypsin and chymotrypsin. So, yun yung enzymes of the pancreatic secretion na nag-a-attack dun sa proteins or nag-digest dun sa protein in the intestine. So, these enzymes are capable of hydrolyzing, breaking down all the partial breakdown products of protein to polypeptides and amino acids. So, sinasabi, di ba, doon sa stomach na breakdown pero partial lang yung breakdown ng protein. Pag pumasok na dito sa small intestine, yung enzyme na trypsin and chymotrypsin, they will further break down these proteins to polypeptide and amino acid. So, yun yung gagawin. So, another digestion na mga ganap is yung digestion of, since na-digest na yung protein into polypeptide and amino acid, digestion of polypeptides by the epithelial enzymes of the small intestine, yung susunod. So, yung epithelial cells, dun sa, parang, dun mismo sa small intestine, it will contain several different enzymes for hydrolyzing the final peptide linkages of the different dipeptides into amino acid. So, doon sa mismong small intestine daw, may mga enzymes ka that will break down yung polypeptide linkages of the different dipeptides into amino acid. So ito yung amino acid yung kailangan natin. Ito yung pwedeng i-absorb ng body para sa nutrients natin. So yun yung gagawin sa small intestine. So ito yung parang breakdown ng digestion ng protein in non-ruminant. So first, you have mga protein, collagen, nucleoprotein, all of these are proteins. So, again, sinasabi ko, nasa mouth, walang magaganap na protein digestion, pero mag-start yon sa stomach. So, you have yung pepsin and gastricin na tinatawag. Now, this pepsin and gastricin, they will break down this protein, collagen, nucleoprotein into proteases, peptones, and polypeptides. So, nangyayari ito sa stomach. Now, these proteases, itong peptones, polypeptides, pupunta ngayon doon sa duodenum, which is the part of the small intestine, and then yung mga enzymes na trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxy, polypeptidases, they will parang break down these proteases, peptones, polypeptides into polypeptides plus amino acid. Now, in the stomach pa rin, with the aid of the amino polypeptidase and the dipeptidase, itong polypeptides plus amino acid, i-break down na nila tuluyan itong polypeptides at yung matitira na lamang is yung amino acid. So, overall, in the digestion of protein in non-ruminant, it will start in the stomach and then it will end in the small intestine, and the end product of protein digestion na doon sa doon sa non-ruminant, yung end product of protein digestion doon sa small intestine is amino acid. So, yun yung laging tatandaan natin. So with that, I will end my video lecture for this. I will end my video lecture here. So for the next video lecture, I'm going to talk about the digestion of protein in ruminants. So with that, I hope that you go over this. I hope that you go over the previous video lectures also. And with that, thank you for listening and have a good day.